When global superstar Beyoncé takes a quiet stroll through Chicago's Millennium Park, she never expects to be drawn toward the sound of a street piano. But when she stops to listen to a gifted blind teenager, she has no idea that their chance encounter will change both of their lives forever. As the music flows from his fingertips, an unexpected bond begins to form, a connection that will take them on a journey neither could have foreseen. And when the truth about their pasts finally comes to light, it will leave everyone in tears. The crisp autumn breeze sweeps through Millennium Park, rustling the golden leaves as they dance to the rhythm of the season. Sitting at the public piano is Jayden Carter, a 14-year-old blind pianist whose fingers glide effortlessly over the worn-out keys. Despite the piano's imperfections, some stuck keys, others slightly out of tune, Jayden doesn't mind, because for him, music is not just sound, it's how he sees the world. Jayden, softly after hearing coins drop into his jar. "Thank you," he says with a smile, nodding toward the sound. Music has been his sanctuary since childhood. His late father, also a musician, taught him that every note is a color, every chord a feeling. And now, even in a world without sight, Jayden paints masterpieces with sound. But today, something is different. The wind shifts, footsteps approach, slow, deliberate, confident. They stop right beside the piano. Jayden continues to play, but he can feel their presence. Unlike most passers-by, this person doesn't leave after tossing a coin or offering a polite compliment. Instead, the bench shifts as someone sits beside him. And then, a voice. Smooth, warm, unmistakable. "That was beautiful," the voice says. Jayden nods, a small smile on his lips. "Thanks, I tried." But when the woman speaks again, something clicks. Something familiar. "Mind if I join you?" she asks. Jayden tilts his head. He knows that voice. "It's a public piano," he replies with a grin. "Go ahead." Beyoncé smiles. The rain starts to fall, tapping gently against the pavement. The park begins to clear, but Beyoncé remains seated. "Do you know Fly Me to the Moon?" she asks. Jayden's face lights up. "One of my favorites." He places his hands on the keys and begins to play. To his surprise, Beyoncé hums along, her voice soft yet powerful, effortlessly weaving through the melody. When Jayden adds a few unexpected flourishes, she chuckles appreciatively. "Nice touch," she says. As the song ends, a comfortable silence settles between them, only interrupted by the sound of the rain. "I'm Beyoncé," she finally says. Jayden extends his hand in the direction of her voice. "Jayden Carter." Her hand is warm, her grip gentle but assured. "You've got real talent, Jayden," Beyoncé says. "How long have you been playing?" "Since I was 5, Jayden replies. "My dad started teaching me before he hesitates. "Before what?" Beyoncé asks gently. Jayden swallows. There's something about her voice, genuine, comforting. "Before he passed away," he finally says. A pause. The rain continues to fall. "I'm sorry," Beyoncé says softly. "He was blind too, like me," Jayden explains. "But he always said music helped him see the world. Each note, a different shade. Each melody, a story." Beyoncé exhales, thoughtful. "That's beautiful," she says. "My mother used to say something similar about music and dance, that it wasn't just about movement, it was about feeling." Jayden tilts his head. "You dance?" Beyoncé chuckles, a little bit. Jayden smiles. He may not see her, but he can feel her presence. Strong yet kind, commanding yet warm. For the first time in a long while, he feels seen. As the rain slows, Beyoncé and Jayden sit side by side, listening to the quiet hum of the city. Something about this moment feels different, like a song that was always meant to be written but never had the right melody until now. "So, what brings you to the park on a rainy day?" Jayden asks, his fingers absent-mindedly tapping the piano keys. Beyoncé exhales, as if weighing her words. "Sometimes I just need to be normal, you know? Walk around without expectations. When I'm here, I can just be." Jayden nods. He understands that feeling, being seen as something more than himself, Most people either pity me or act like I'm some kind of miracle, he says. They don't just let me be. Beyoncé is quiet for a moment, then finally says, the world likes to put people in boxes, but real talent, real passion, that doesn't fit into a box. Jayden smiles. He likes the way she talks, honest, direct. Play something else for me, Beyoncé requests. Whatever you're working on right now. Jayden hesitates. It's not perfect yet. Beyoncé shakes her head. Nothing worth doing ever starts out perfect. Taking a deep breath, Jayden places his fingers on the keys and begins to play. It's a complex jazz piece, fast, intricate, alive. But midway through, his fingers slip, hitting the wrong note. Ugh, sorry, he mumbles, frustrated. Beyoncé's voice is firm. Don't apologize, just keep going. So he does. He pushes through, finding the rhythm again. And when he finishes, Beyoncé claps, genuinely, wholeheartedly. That was incredible, she says. Jayden grins. Really? Really? Where do you usually play? Here, mostly. Sometimes at school. My mom saved up for a keyboard, but it's not the same as a real piano. Do you take lessons? Beyoncé asks. Jayden shakes his head. We can't afford them anymore. My mom works 2 jobs just to keep us in our apartment. Beyoncé leans back, thoughtful. She knows what it's like to struggle for a dream. They sit together for almost an hour, talking about music, family, life. And for the first time in a long time, Jayden feels like someone is really listening. As the sky clears, Beyoncé stands. I should get going, she says, but I'm glad I stopped. Jayden hears her reach into her pocket. Something heavy drops into his jaw. A bill, larger than the usual coins. Before he can say anything, a voice calls from a distance. B, the car's waiting. Jayden's head tilts. B, footsteps retreat. A car door opens, closes, and then silence. Furious, Jayden reaches into his jar, feeling for the object she dropped. His fingers brush over something smooth, stiff. A card? His heart pounds. It's not a dollar bill. It's a business card. When his mother reads it to him later that night, he nearly drops it in shock. It doesn't have a title, no company name, just a name, a number, and 1 letter. Beyoncé. As the rain slows, Beyoncé and Jayden sit side by side, listening to the quiet hum of the city. Something about this moment feels different, like a song that was always meant to be written but never had the right melody until now. So, what brings you to the park on a rainy day? Jayden asks, his fingers absent-mindedly tapping the piano keys. Beyoncé exhales, as if weighing her words. Sometimes I just need to be normal, you know? Walk around without expectations. When I'm here, I can just be. Jayden nods. He understands that feeling, being seen as something more than himself. Most people either pity me or act like I'm some kind of miracle, he says. They don't just let me be. Beyoncé is quiet for a moment, then finally says, the world likes to put people in boxes, but real talent, real passion, that doesn't fit into a box. Jayden smiles. He likes the way she talks, honest, direct. Play something else for me, Beyoncé requests. Whatever you're working on right now. Jayden hesitates. It's not perfect yet. Beyoncé shakes her head. Nothing worth doing ever starts out perfect. Taking a deep breath, Jayden places his fingers on the keys and begins to play. It's a complex jazz piece, fast, intricate, alive. But midway through, his fingers slip, hitting the wrong note. Ugh, sorry, he mumbles, frustrated. Beyoncé's voice is firm. Don't apologize, just keep going. So he does. He pushes through, finding the rhythm again. And when he finishes, Beyoncé claps, genuinely, wholeheartedly. That was incredible, she says. Jayden grins. Really? Really? Where do you usually play? Here, mostly. Sometimes at school. My mom saved up for a keyboard, but it's not the same as a real piano. Do you take lessons? Beyoncé asks. Jayden shakes his head. We can't afford them anymore. My mom works 2 jobs just to keep us in our apartment. Beyoncé leans back, thoughtful. She knows what it's like to struggle for a dream. They sit together for almost an hour, talking about music, family, life. And for the first time in a long time, Jayden feels like someone is really listening. As the sky clears, Beyoncé stands. "I should get going," she says, "but I'm glad I stopped." Jayden hears her reach into her pocket. Something heavy drops into his jar. A bill, larger than the usual coins. Before he can say anything, a voice calls from a distance. "B, the car's waiting." Jayden's head tilts. "B," footsteps retreat. A car door opens, closes, and then silence. Curious, Jayden reaches into his jar, feeling for the object she dropped. His fingers brush over something smooth, stiff. A card? His heart pounds. It's not a dollar bill. It's a business card. When his mother reads it to him later that night, he nearly drops it in shock. It doesn't have a title, no company name, just a name, a number, and one letter, Beyoncé. The next afternoon after school, Jayden takes a deep breath and dials the number. It rings once, twice, 3 times. Then, "Hello?" The voice is smooth, warm, recognizable instantly. Jayden's breath catches. Hi, it's, Jayden, from the park." Pause. Then, "Jayden, I was hoping you'd call." His heart leaps. She remembers. I just wanted to say thank you for talking with me, and for whatever you put in my jar." Beyoncé laughs softly. "That was for your music, and for you to keep playing." Jayden swallows. Should he ask? Does he dare? "I don't know why you gave me your number, but..." He hesitates, then finally asks, "Why me?" A beat of silence. "Because I believe in you," Beyoncé says simply. "And because someone once did the same for me." Jayden grips the phone tighter. "What do you mean?" "Look, I want to talk more in person. How about you and your mom come meet me tomorrow? I have something I want to show you." Jayden nearly drops the phone. "Wait, meet you? Like, in real life?" "Yes, Jayden, in real life." Beyoncé laughs. "I promise I'm not a hologram." Jayden grins like an idiot. "Okay," he manages. "Where?" "I'll send a car. Just be ready at 4 p.m. Jayden doesn't know how to respond. He just stares at the phone as the call ends. This is really happening. The next day, Jayden paces in their tiny living room. "You really think this is a good idea?" Monica asks, arms crossed. "I don't know," Jayden admits. "But when someone like Beyoncé tells you to show up, you show up." A knock at the door. Jayden practically jumps. His mother opens it to find a man in a black suit standing beside a sleek black SUV. "Miss Carter?" he asks. She hesitates. "I've been sent to take you and Jayden to Miss Knowles." Monica looks at Jayden, her expression unreadable. Then, finally, "All right, let's go." The ride is quiet, except for Jayden's racing thoughts. Where are they going? What does Beyoncé want to show him? The city streets blur past as the SUV moves through downtown Chicago. Jayden tries to track the turns, but soon he realizes they're heading toward a part of the city he's never been before. And then, suddenly, they stop. "We're here," the driver announces. Jayden's hands grip the seat. The door opens. And when he steps outside, the sound of the city fades, replaced by the unmistakable echo of a grand piano being played inside the building before him. He doesn't know it yet, but this moment, it's the beginning of something life-changing. Narrator, steady, cinematic tone. Jayden stands frozen, the sound of a grand piano spilling from the open door ahead. He grips his mother's hand, unsure whether to move forward or run back to the car. "Jayden, you okay?" his mom whispers. He nods, though his heart is pounding so hard it might break through his chest. Then, footsteps. Confident, purposeful. "There you are." Beyoncé steps out of the building, her voice warm, welcoming. "I'm so glad you came." Jayden tries to swallow the lump in his throat. He's standing face to face with one of the most famous people on Earth, and she's acting like this is just a normal meeting. Where are we?" he finally asks. Beyoncé smiles. "Come inside. I'll show you." The moment Jayden steps inside, the sound of the grand piano wraps around him like a warm embrace. The air smells like polished wood and possibility. This, his mother breathes. This is a music studio, and not just any studio. A private rehearsal space, large, open, with a massive grand piano sitting at the center, gleaming under soft lighting. hearing only the music. His fingers dance across the keys, the melody soaring. When he finishes, the room is silent. Then, again, Jayden's head jerks up. Again? Yes, Beyoncé says. And this time, own it. So he plays again, this time with more confidence. And when he finishes, Beyoncé is smiling. You're good, she says. But if you want to be great, you need to train, really train. Jayden blinks. What do you mean? She turns to his mother. Monica, what would you say if I arranged for Jayden to have real lessons with top instructors? Jayden's mother freezes. What? You mean like professional training? Yes, Beyoncé says. I want to invest in his future, in his talent. Jayden feels like the floor just vanished beneath him. I don't know what to say, his mother stammers. Say yes, Beyoncé smiles. Monica looks at Jayden, her baby, the boy who's only ever dreamed of this moment, and finally, she nods. Okay, she whispers. Jayden can't move. He can't speak, because this is the moment everything changes. Narrator, steady, immersive tone. Jayden wakes up the next morning feeling like he stepped into a completely different life. Yesterday, he was playing on a broken public piano. Today, he has a mentor, a real shot, a chance to change everything. But as exciting as it is, it's also terrifying, because now he has to prove he belongs. The rehearsal studio is quiet when Jayden arrives, his hands gripping his cane tighter than usual. He's never been in a space like this, a real training facility with soundproofed walls, polished floors, and a grand piano worth more than his entire apartment building. He takes a deep breath, feeling the weight of it all. Then, a voice. You must be Jayden. Jayden freezes. The voice is crisp, authoritative, yet oddly gentle. A woman's footsteps approach. I'm Evelyn Rousseau, she says. Your new instructor. Jayden's stomach tightens. Evelyn Rousseau is legendary, a former Carnegie Hall performer known for training the best pianists in the world. And now, she's here for him. Sit, she instructs. Play something for me. Jayden's hands are cold as he places them on the keys. He starts to play one of his favorite jazz pieces, the one he's always used to impress people. But 30 seconds in, stop! Jayden's fingers freeze mid-note. Your timing is inconsistent, Evelyn says bluntly. Your left hand lacks precision. Your phrasing is sloppy. Jayden's face burns. But, he starts. Again, she interrupts. Jayden tries again. Wrong. Again. His frustration builds. He's never had someone tear him apart like this. I don't know what you want, Jayden admits, his voice shaking. Evelyn leans in close. I want you to be great. The next few weeks are the hardest of Jayden's life. He trains every day. Hours of scales, drills, theory work. Evelyn pushes him past his limits. You're rushing the tempo. That articulation is sloppy. If you can't hear the mistake, you'll never fix it. Every lesson feels like a battle. Every time Jayden thinks he's getting better, she finds another flaw, and it's breaking him. One evening, after another grueling session, he slams his hands on the piano. I can't do this! The room falls silent. Evelyn doesn't react. She just waits. Finally, she speaks. You think greatness is easy? She says, her voice quiet but firm. Jayden says nothing. You want this, Jayden? Then you have to work harder than you ever have. You have to struggle, fail, break down, and then get back up. Jayden swallows hard. Because talent? Evelyn continues. Talent means nothing without discipline. The words hit deep, and for the first time, Jayden understands. That night, Jayden doesn't sleep. He sits at the piano, running his fingers over the keys, thinking about what Evelyn said. Fail, break down, get back up. He remembers the first time he ever played, the way his father's hands guided his, the way music made the world feel whole. Somewhere along the way, he forgot. He started playing to impress people. Now, he wants to play because it's who he is. So the next morning, when he walks into the studio, he takes his seat at the piano. Evelyn crosses her arms. You're late, Jayden smiles. I was practicing. Then, without waiting, he starts playing. And for the first time, he doesn't try to sound perfect. He plays with feeling, precision, heart, and when he finishes, Evelyn nods. Now we're getting somewhere. Let me know if you approve. I'll continue with part 6, where Beyoncé takes Jayden to his first real performance. His fingers ache, his mind is exhausted, but for the first time, he feels ready, and just in time. Because Beyoncé, she has something big planned. Jayden is packing up after a lesson when his phone buzzes. Beyoncé, he scrambles to answer. "Hey," he says, trying to sound normal, despite his pounding heart. "Hey, piano man." Beyoncé's voice is warm, teasing. "How's training?" "Brutal," Jayden admits. "But I think I'm getting better." A pause. Then, "Good, because I have a surprise for you." Jayden freezes. "A surprise?" "Yep, I booked you your first real performance." His stomach drops. "What?" "You heard me," Beyoncé says. "I'm putting you on a stage, Jayden, a real one, in front of real people." Jayden's head spins. I'm not ready for that." "You are," Beyoncé says, "and you need to believe that." Jayden swallows hard. Because ready or not, this is happening. The next evening, Jayden steps out of the car and feels the pulse of the city around him. Music, laughter, the distant hum of traffic, and right in front of him, a packed venue. "Where are we?" Jayden asks, gripping his cane tightly. "A jazz lounge," Beyoncé explains. "One of the best in Chicago." Jayden's heart races. "I can't play here. These are real musicians." "And what are you?" Beyoncé counters. Jayden opens his mouth, then stops. She's right, but the fear, it's still there. Loud, overwhelming, suffocating. Then Beyoncé crouches beside him. "Listen to me," she says softly. "I wouldn't put you here if I didn't think you could handle it." Jayden nods slowly. "Breathe. Just breathe." The club buzzes with energy as Beyoncé leads him inside. Conversations hum, glasses clink, and a soft melody plays from the speakers. And then, the moment Jayden dreads, the host steps onto the small stage. "Ladies and gentlemen," the voice booms over the mic, "tonight we have a special guest, a young man with a rare gift, stepping onto this stage for the very first time." Jayden's stomach twists into knots. "Please welcome Jayden Carter." Applause, loud, encouraging, terrifying. Beyoncé squeezes his shoulder. "Go show them what I already know." Jayden takes one shaky step forward, then another, and as he reaches the piano and sits down, the room falls into a hushed silence. Jayden places his hands on the keys. His mind is blank. His fingers feel stiff. He can hear the whispers, the shuffling, the waiting. And then, his worst fear comes true. Nothing comes out. His fingers won't move. The pressure crushes him. "What are you doing?" His brain screams. "You don't belong here." The silence stretches too long. Then, a voice. Not loud, not demanding. Just a whisper from the front row. "Breathe." It's Beyoncé. Jayden's breath shudders. He closes his eyes, and then he starts to play. At first, the notes are hesitant, uncertain, but then something clicks. The room melts away. There's no audience, no pressure, just the music. Jayden's fingers find the melody. His heart beats in time with the rhythm, and suddenly, he's free. The club is silent, drawn into every note. He plays like he's never played before, with feeling, with power, with soul. And when he plays the last chord, there's a moment of pure, suspended silence. Then, thunderous applause, cheers, whistles, people on their feet. Jayden sits frozen, his hands still hovering over the keys. Did that just happen? Then Beyoncé's voice, soft, warm, proud, cuts through the noise. "Told you!" And for the first time, Jayden believes it too. Let me know if you approve. Next, in part 7, Jayden's performance goes viral, and suddenly the whole world is watching. Narrator, cinematic, steady tone. Jayden Carter walks off the stage shaking. His hands, his legs, his heart. But it's not from fear anymore. It's from something new, something electric. He did it. He just played his first real performance. And the applause? It's still echoing in his ears. But what he doesn't know yet is that his life is about to change forever. Jayden wakes up to chaos. His phone won't stop buzzing. "Jayden, you better come see this," his mom shouts from the living room. He stumbles out of bed, rubbing his eyes. "What's going on?" His mom grabs his phone and presses it into his hands. "Check your messages." Jayden scrolls blindly, and then he hears it. "Bro, you're blowing up. Check Twitter, man. Is this really you playing?" His heart pounds. "What are they talking about?" Jayden asks, confused. Then, his mother clicks on a video, and suddenly he understands, because there on the screen is him, sitting at the piano, playing, pouring his heart into the keys. Someone filmed his performance at the lounge, and now it has millions of views. Jayden's name is everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Blind piano prodigy is trending worldwide. Celebrities are sharing his video. This kid is incredible. A-list singer. His talent is next level. Famous pianist. I'm speechless. Hollywood actor. Jayden sits in shock. He just wanted to play piano. He never expected this. Is this really happening? He asks, voice barely above a whisper. His mother places a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Baby, I think the world just found out who you are." The call comes through. Jayden's hands tremble as he answers. "Hello? Hey, superstar. It's Beyoncé." Jayden almost drops his phone. You saw?" "Of course I saw. The whole world saw." She laughs softly. "How does it feel?" Jayden doesn't know how to answer. "Feel overwhelmed." "That's normal," Beyoncé says. "But listen, this is just the beginning." Jayden swallows hard. "What do you mean?" "I mean, doors are opening, Jayden. The question is, are you ready to walk through them?" Later that day, Beyoncé calls Jayden and his mom to a meeting. They sit in a high-rise office, the city stretching below them. Across from them, a team of music executives, producers, and agents. Jayden's hands curl into fists under the table. "Why am I here?" he asks cautiously. One of the execs leans forward. "Jayden, you're a star, and the world just saw it." Another one speaks up. "We want to sign you, record an album, tour, make you the biggest name in music." Jayden's head spins. An album? A tour? This is everything he's ever dreamed of. But also, it's terrifying. His mom clears her throat. "And what does that actually mean for my son?" she asks carefully. Jayden can feel the weight in her voice, because this is huge. But it's also a lot. And suddenly, Jayden isn't so sure. After the meeting, Jayden and Beyoncé sit together in a quiet lounge. Jayden's mind is racing. "This is insane," he says. "It's too much. I just wanted to play piano." Beyoncé nods slowly. "I get it. Fame can be overwhelming. But let me ask you something, Jayden. What do you really want?" Jayden thinks about it. The viral fame, the record deals, the screaming fans. It all feels big. But at the end of the day, he just wants to make music. "I don't want to be famous," he admits. "I just want to be great." Beyoncé smiles. "Then be great, and let the rest happen naturally." Jayden nods, exhaling. "So what do I do?" Beyoncé leans in. "You take it one step at a time. Let me know if you approve." Next, in part 8, Jayden faces his biggest test yet, performing for an audience that could change his future forever. Jayden Carter has gone from playing on a public piano in the park to having the whole world watching. But now he faces his biggest challenge yet, a performance that could change everything. And this time, the stakes are higher than ever before. Jayden is practicing late at night, fingers moving smoothly across the piano keys. The world outside is silent, but inside, his heart is racing. Because earlier today, Beyoncé called with a new opportunity, one he never saw coming. His mom's voice echoes in his mind. "You've been invited to play at the Grammys, Jayden." The Grammys, not just any performance, one of the biggest stages in the world, and they want him. A 14-year-old blind kid from the South Side. His hands tremble just thinking about it. "Are you ready for this?" his mom had asked. And honestly, he still doesn't know. Jayden meets Evelyn Rousseau in the studio the next morning. She's waiting at the piano, arms crossed. "You heard the news?" she asks. Jayden nods. "Then let's get to work." What follows is the hardest training Jayden has ever faced. Hours of finger exercises strengthening his touch. Scales at blinding speeds, testing his dexterity. Live pressure tests with people watching as he plays. Every time he messes up, Evelyn makes him start over. You think the Grammy stage will be forgiving? She challenges. Jayden grits his teeth. He doesn't argue. He just keeps going. Because if he's going to do this, he's going to do it right. A week before the Grammys, Jayden gets a private rehearsal session. Beyoncé walks in, but she's not alone. Jayden hears new footsteps. Then, well, look at this kid. The real deal. Jayden's stomach drops. Because that voice, it belongs to Alicia Keys. Jayden tries to stay calm, but inside he's screaming. I saw your video, Alicia says. You play with real soul. Jayden swallows hard. Thank you, Miss Keys. She laughs. Oh, we're doing Miss Keys? Okay, I see how it is. Beyoncé chuckles. Jayden, Alicia is going to be playing with you at the Grammy. Jayden's heart stops. Wait, what? We're doing a duet, Alicia says. Live. No second takes. Just you and me. Jayden feels dizzy. This isn't just a performance, it's a once-in-a-lifetime moment. Jayden sits alone at the piano the night before the Grammys. The stage is set. The lights are massive. And tomorrow, millions of people will be watching him play. He presses a key, feeling the vibrations. This is everything he's ever wanted. But for the first time, he wonders if he's good enough. A voice breaks his thoughts. Nervous? Jayden turns his head. It's Beyoncé. She sits beside him. I've never been this scared in my life, Jayden admits. Beyoncé nods. That means it matters. Jayden's hands clench into fists. What if I mess up? Beyoncé leans in. Then you keep playing. Jayden exhales slowly. That's what Alicia said too. Beyoncé smiles. Then you're in good hands. Jayden nods. Because tomorrow, he won't let fear win. The lights in the auditorium dim. The audience falls silent, and then a single spotlight illuminates the stage. Jayden walks to the piano, his cane tapping softly against the floor. He can feel the cameras on him, the world holding its breath. He sits, places his hands on the keys, and then he plays. The music is pure, emotional, powerful. Alicia joins in, her fingers gliding effortlessly beside his. Their duet fills the room, their music telling a story without words. Jayden doesn't think about the crowd. He doesn't think about the cameras. He just plays, and when the final note fades into silence, the audience explodes into applause. Jayden stands, breathing hard, and then the entire room rises to their feet. A standing ovation. He did it. He just played the biggest stage of his life, and now he knows. He was born for this. Let me know if you approve. Next, in part 9, Jayden faces the consequences of fame and must decide who he really wants to be. Jayden Carter just played the biggest performance of his life, the Grammys stage. A standing ovation, millions watching, and now his life is about to change forever. But what nobody tells you, fame comes with a cost, and Jayden is about to learn that the hard way. The night after the Grammys, Jayden's phone is blowing up. Jayden, you killed it. Bro, you just made history. Record labels are fighting over you. His social media is on fire. 50 million views in less than 24 hours. His name is everywhere. Jayden Carter, the blind prodigy who stole the show. But as exciting as it is, it's also overwhelming. Because suddenly the world isn't just watching him. They're expecting something. And that's terrifying. A week later, Jayden is sitting in a massive boardroom surrounded by suits and executives. His mom is next to him, gripping his hand. Across from them, a panel of music industry giants. Jayden, let's cut to the chase, one of them says. We want to sign you. Big contract. World tour. Your own album. Jayden swallows hard. This is huge, but it also feels wrong. Because they're not talking about his music. They're talking about his brand, the endorsements, the money, the viral appeal. We can make you bigger than anyone, another exec adds. Jayden shifts uncomfortably. I just want to play music. The room goes silent. Sitting alone at his piano, he presses a key, then another. But for the first time in his life, the music doesn't feel the same. It feels forced, like something he's losing. And that scares him more than anything. Beyoncé notices the change. She pulls Jayden aside after a press event. "Talk to me." Jayden hesitates. "I don't know if I can do this." Beyoncé leans in. "Do what?" Jayden's voice cracks. "Be this. Be famous. Be what they want me to be." Beyoncé watches him carefully. "Then don't." Jayden blinks. "What?" "Jayden, the industry will take everything from you if you let it. You have to decide what matters most." Jayden looks down at his hands. His fingers, the same ones that once danced freely over the keys, now feel trapped. "I just want to play." Beyoncé nods slowly. "Then play, but do it on your own terms." And in that moment, Jayden knows what he has to do. A week later, Jayden does the unthinkable. He turns down the record deal. His team freaks out. The industry thinks he's crazy. "You're throwing everything away," they yell. But Jayden, for the first time in months, he feels free. Because this isn't about being famous. It's about being himself. And if the world wants his music, they'll get it. But on his terms. Let me know if you approve. Next, in part 10, Jayden takes back control and finds out what true success really means. Jayden Carter just did what no one expected. He walked away from the biggest deal of his life. He turned down fame, money, and power. And the industry? It thinks he just threw it all away. But Jayden, for the first time in months, he feels alive again. Because success isn't about what they want. It's about what he chooses to create. The moment Jayden's decision goes public, the internet erupts. Is Jayden Carter ruining his career? Blind piano prodigy walks away from millions. Why? Jayden Carter's biggest mistake? Industry insiders say yes. Jayden sees the headlines. He hears the whispers. He knows what people are saying. But for the first time, he doesn't care. Because he finally knows who he is and who he's not. For weeks, Jayden stays off the grid. No press, no appearances, just him and the piano. He plays like he's never played before. Not for views, not for record labels, just for himself. And slowly, the joy returns. The music feels right again. And this time, he's going to do things his way. One night, Jayden's mom finds him at the piano, deep in thought. "You've been quiet lately," she says. Jayden nods. "I needed to clear my head." "And now?" she asks gently. Jayden smiles. "Now I know what I want to do." He grabs his phone, opens his social media, and types one simple message. No label, no industry rules, just music. My way, album coming soon, and independent. Then he hits post. And within minutes, the world explodes again. Jayden's going independent? I love this. Forget the labels, man. You got this. Jayden Carter is about to change the game. Fans rally behind him. Other artists speak out in support. Even Beyoncé comments on his post. "Proud of you, piano man. This is just the beginning." And just like that, Jayden Carter is back in control. Months later, Jayden steps onto his own stage. No industry, no suits telling him what to do. Just him, his piano, and the people who believe in him. The lights dim, the crowd hushes. And then, Jayden begins to play. His own music, his own sound. And when he finishes, the crowd erupts. Not for a manufactured superstar, not for a product of the industry, but for a real artist. A young man who chose himself over fame. And in that moment, Jayden knows. This is what success feels like. Months later, Jayden steps onto his own stage. No industry, no suits telling him what to do. Just him, his piano, and the people who believe in him. The lights dim, the crowd hushes, and then Jayden holding on to himself. Jayden's independent album drops, and within hours, it goes viral. His fans go crazy. Streaming numbers explode. Critics call it raw, powerful, and deeply personal. And suddenly, Jayden Carter isn't just the blind prodigy. He's an artist to be reckoned with. But with success comes expectations, interviews, performances, meetings, and before he knows it, Jayden is right back where he started, overwhelmed, pulled in a million directions, and worst of all, barely touching the piano for himself anymore. One night, Jayden is in his studio. The lights are dim. The room is silent. He sits at the piano, but his fingers won't move. The music that once flowed so easily feels distant, locked away. For the first time in his life, Jayden wonders, did I lose it? Then, his mom's voice breaks the silence. You need a break, Jayden. Jayden shakes his head. I can't stop now. Everyone's counting on me. His mom sits beside him. Baby, you're counting on yourself the hardest. And that hits him deep, because she's right. He's doing exactly what he swore he wouldn't, losing himself to the pressure, and something has to change. Jayden steps away from the industry for a while. No press, no deadlines, just him and the music again. One afternoon, his phone rings. It's Beyoncé. Hey, piano man, got a minute? Jayden smiles. For you? Always. I have a question for you, she says. Ever thought about teaching? Jayden pauses. Teaching? What do you mean? There are kids out there, Jayden, blind musicians, talented ones, but they don't have the chances you had. I think you could change that. Jayden feels something stir inside him. A new idea, a bigger purpose. Not just playing music, but passing it on. And for the first time in a long while, he feels excited again. A year later, Jayden Carter launches something new, a music foundation, designed for blind and visually impaired kids, giving them pianos, lessons, and opportunities, the same way Michael Jordan believed in him. Now, he's believing in someone else. At the grand opening, a young girl, no older than 10, sits at a piano. She's blind, she's nervous, but Jayden kneels beside her, whispering, just feel the keys, don't think, just play. And as her fingers find the first notes, Jayden smiles, because this is his real legacy. Not fame, not numbers, but the music living on in others. And in that moment, he finally knows. He didn't just find success, he found his true purpose. Years later, Jayden stands backstage at another huge concert. Only this time, he's not the one performing. A young pianist, one of his students, is about to take the stage. Jayden places a hand on the kid's shoulder. Nervous, the kid nods quickly. Jayden laughs softly. Good. That means it matters. The lights dim. The crowd hushes. The young pianist walks out onto the stage. And when the first notes ring out, Jayden watches proudly. Because this is what it was all for. The music, the journey, the struggle, it all led here. And in the end, Jayden Carter didn't just become a legend, he created them too. This is Jayden Carter's legacy, a boy who once played piano in a park and went on to change the world, one note at a time. The end. Sometimes, success isn't about how many people know your name, it's about how many lives you touch. Jayden Carter didn't just become a star, he became a teacher, a leader, a legacy. And that's a story worth telling. If this story moved you, don't forget to like and share. And let me know in the comments, what does success mean to you? Thanks for watching, and remember, the world is always listening. So play your song loud and proud.